Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fuel for Success. It's good to see everybody here this morning, and today is episode 284, which actually, if you take those numbers and you add them up, it becomes 14. And then if you subtract 14 from 37, which is a prime number, because today is the 134th day of the year, which is 37% of 2015. And if you subtract that, it's 23. And if you add 2 to 3, it's 5. And this is the 5th month. Coincidence? I don't think so. So welcome to the show. And today we're going to be talking about business development, entrepreneurship, not numerology. I was just having a little fun there. But good morning to my...
woke up really early to figure all that out? Or like you've been thinking about this for weeks and you wrote it all down? Tell me you didn't just now like whip that out of your crazy brain.
Unfortunately,
I'm done.
I sort of just did. So none of it really made sense, but the numbers added up. But anyways, yeah. So good morning to my co-host, Matt, and it's good to see you, my friend. We're excited to talk about business and entrepreneurship today. We've got a bunch of questions. We're going to start off with one from Lance. But good morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm ready for this, man. This is our show about business and entrepreneurship, life, success, money, you name it. And it's always good to see our live viewers hanging out with us. And, of course, Mike, one of the reasons we do this talk show is not just because we like to hear ourselves talk, but our goal is to give people encouragement, motivation, coaching, practical do's and don'ts, things we've learned, what works and what doesn't work. So, I really believe that this is a very valuable show because of the fact that people can go live and actually ask questions. So like case in point, Lance asked a question. And here we're going to answer it first because he's live with us. He hangs out with us almost every day. And Mike, if I had any respect for anybody that I thought had a little bit of success and they did a talk show where I could get on and ask questions, I would be annoying them with questions. I taught my son this one thing. I said, Caleb, don't ever be in the presence of a mentor or somebody successful and not ask at least 3 questions. At least. Really, you should ask about 10. But never be in the presence of greatness. Not I'm saying that we're good, but I'm saying like never be in the presence of success or greatness and not ask questions. You know what's amazing to me is our baseball team. We have 13-year-old baseball team. Had the high school coach come to our practice. He hung out with us for like 3 hours, and only like 2 kids of all 12 asked him a question.
Wow.
That's it. It shocks me that many of us get around greatness and never ask questions. I see it happen all the time. People will be around somebody successful and they won't pick their brain. They won't ask, their secrets, how they did it. I think that's important to never lose your passion to learn, man. You know what, Mike? I believe you can learn something from everybody. If I ever sit on a plane next to an older man, or it doesn't even have to be a man, an older person, I'll ask him, hey, what's your best advice for a young man? If you had your life to do over again, what would you do different? It's the number one thing you learn. If I met somebody the other day that was on their 70th year of marriage. So I'm like, hey, if you don't mind me asking, what's the secret? Obviously, they've done something right. They've been married 70 years. Of course, most couples, when you ask that, they say something very sarcastic. But sometimes you'll get something good and deep if you keep digging and keep asking. But anyways, there's my little intro for the day, my friend.
It's a good intro, and glad to hear it. Let's jump to Lance's question real quick, and then we've got some others that have come in that we want to get to. And Lance is asking the question, how do you get new team... Let me start over. How do you get a new team of coworkers to buy into your vision? Don't laugh at me.
Wait a minute. You can rattle off 900 different number sequences, but you can't ask a simple question? So how do you get a team of coworkers to buy into your vision? Well, you got to make it feel like it's their vision. You know how? I'll give you an example. I think a lot of leaders miss out on the buy-in process by not getting people involved in the planning or the getting their fingers dirty in the, the brainstorming, the creative side of it. The, hey, you know what? We want 500 new customers within the next 40 days. How do we do it? Instead of walking in and just giving the order. Too many times the reason why coworkers don't buy into our vision is because they don't feel a part of our vision. And a lot of people, Lance, they don't know how to sell a vision. They don't know how to communicate a vision. They don't know how to excite people around it. Remember, most people are actually more driven by cause than they are money. And sometimes most leaders don't know how to cast the vision of a cause, the why behind we're doing this. Then, of course, you've always got to be selling the what's in it for me. So obviously getting them to buy into your vision, it needs to be our vision because, your success is my success and my success is your success. And of course, Lance, this goes into, making sure that people are, they're rewarded, they're motivated, you're giving them the proper amount of praise, recognition, accentuating the positive, affirming those that are doing. See, Mike, a lot of times it's kind of like we miss by paying attention to all the duds in leadership and giving all the duds the correction rather than all the good people the praise. I'm a believer in the positive side of peer pressure and almost guilting people by ignoring the non-performers and like showing pictures and giving the performers praise and look how good these people have done. Sometimes that has a way of motivating people more than the constant correction, criticism, whatever. It's like this, what do? You go to, like, I use a lot of baseball analogies. So, we got 12 kids on the baseball field. Do we constantly talk about the kids that are, not paying attention or the kids that aren't giving 100%? Or when they're all together, you say, you know what I noticed about you, Joe, is you gave 100% today, man. I really like that about you. You dove for the ball. Sometimes that motivates the other kids more than me saying, you know what, Johnny, you were out, you weren't paying attention. You didn't even run like you should have. Sometimes the positive side of motivation does more for people as far as causing people to step up because, Mike, everybody craves recognition. True. They crave it. People will go to great lengths. I mean, and people love to feel a part of something. Have you ever asked somebody for directions? It's almost like you just gave them a free cruise. The feeling that comes over somebody. Next time, just stop a stranger and ask for directions and watch how, like, sincere they get. Watch how, like warm they get. It's almost like you become family with somebody you ask directions to because it's the nature of humanity to want to help. People want to contribute. But people don't want to be demoralized. People don't want to feel like they're just another number. You've got to create the right atmosphere at your work. For vision is not just something on the wall. Everything impacts vision. How you talk to your employees, the atmosphere, the energy, your attitude as a leader, your the way that you think, your enthusiasm, if you would. So that's what I would say, Mike. Anything you want to throw in there?
I would add this, and I see this a mistake that a lot of leaders make, either in business or even in church world, is when you have a vision, you're trying to get buy-in in that vision. A lot of times people just sort of have the idea that if they announce it and sort of give the vision one time and maybe hang up a poster and send out an email that, people should buy into that vision. And that's just not the case. I mean, you have to promote. And you have to keep it in front of people. You have to keep it fresh and you have to keep that, the momentum going because you can't just toss it out one time and expect people to remember it, to buy into it, to, take account for it. And I like what you say, and Carol said something about it too, make them part of the vision to get buy-in, so that they have a measure of ownership. That's extremely good. But But a lot of times, one of the biggest failures I see is just the lack of promotion, the lack of consistency, the lack of like bringing that message almost to the point that it's annoying. I mean, how do we know, the corporate slogans for Coca-Cola and for Nike? It's because they put it in front of us 1,000 times. And so if your people can't like recite your vision, then you're not promoting it enough.
That's good. You're right. That's very good, Mike. You can't over promote a vision. You're exactly right. Too many leaders don't even promote it 10% enough. They say it one time. It's the same thing in social media. One tweet. One post. It's like I'll post a picture about my juice book right here. And I could post it 100 times, and like the next day, one of my Facebook friends would be like, "Dude, I didn't know you wrote a book."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you would assume like the last 100 pictures they saw, but it's not that way in social media, man.
It's not the way in the world.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much people don't see.
Yeah.
That's the real conversation.
And another thing that you want to be aware of when you're trying to promote or cast a vision is that you want to make it succinct and something that people can get a hold of, right? I mean, if it's too complicated, if it's too vague, people are going to have a hard time remembering it. They're going to have a hard time getting behind it. You want to simplify, promote. And that's a good way to get buy-in. You mentioned social media. I want to jump to a new question here, even though we're already at 11 minutes.
Failed. This will be one of our failures of 2015. We stuck to our 11-minute show like 3 times.
2 or 3 times, yeah. It's funny, Tommy.
Yeah, that's
funny,
Tommy.
Tommy wants to know if your juicing book tells him what juicer to buy. Banning Tommy from the show as we speak. Just kidding.
As we speak, let's mark him off, unfriending him off Facebook. What else?
Hey, so let's do at least one more question here, real quick. And you mentioned social media, and I see a lot of companies, brands, and businesses making a lot of social media mistakes. Can you share one that you see, social media mistake that you see businesses make?
The lack of interaction is number one. Like the arrogance to me of all these companies that are like, follow me, like my page, that never ever like have somebody interact and engage is just staggering to me. It really is. It's shocking that they don't place a higher priority of engagement and interaction. That would be the first mistake that I've seen. Probably the second mistake that I've seen is not listening to their customers that are actually on, that are talking, not responding or even listening. It could be like a big company like, I don't know, Best Buy, and somebody goes on their Facebook page and says something. Okay, I'll give you an example. Publix, right here, a grocery store. Great grocery store, by the way. Unbelievable. One of my favorites. But a friend of mine found a cockroach in one of their, you know how you can buy the packaged fruit, which I don't buy. You know how they'll put like blueberries, pineapples, strawberries in a container, right?
Sure.
She found a cockroach in it. She went on the company's Facebook page and posted a picture of the cockroach in like almost 2 days. Nobody from the company responded.
Wow.
Like, Mike, that is a major mistake. I mean, major. We're not talking about the fact that she said, I'm disappointed you didn't have rolls. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the fact that she posted a picture of fruit with a cockroach in it and said, hey, I was at your store today. I was excited about getting fruit until I opened it up and I realized that not only did I get raspberries and blueberries, but it also came with a cockroach. Wow. But anyways, I think the lack of interaction, the lack of engagement, the lack of response to current customers. What about you, Mike? I know you've seen a lot.
Yeah, actually a recent experience that I just had, and I've been a loyal Verizon customer for years, and they're in the process of losing me as a customer by their pure apathy. But I tweeted just basically to make a point that, this is it's, this is how companies are making mistakes in social media. And of course, as could be expected, eventually, Verizon customer support like tweeted me back, and they're like, "Hey, how can we help?" And I immediately replied. And here's the problem. See, Twitter's real time, and if you're going to be on Twitter and if you're going to interact with your customers, you need to like interact, right? So after the initial I tweeted them back, it's like 7 or 8 hours later before they say, "Hey, direct message us and let's see what we can do to help your situation," right? So I followed him, direct messaged him. 24 hours go by, not a word from him, right? And then they're like, "Hey, we need your whatever billing account password." Okay, so I give them the billing account password. Another 2 days, still no word. I'm like, this is exactly how not to do engagement in social media, because in today's world, people expect that if you're going to be on social media, you're going to have a response. It would have been better for them never to have contacted me in the first place. So if you're going to be there, make sure if you're going to be there, if you're going to interact with your customers, you don't want to set up an expectation that you're going to, help them on Twitter and then, fall through and make them wait 4 or 5 days before you ever get any sort of response, right? I mean, it's like, and here's the thing is that I think companies are looking at, big companies like Verizon are looking at, like, we've got online chat, we've got a phone number, we've got a website, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and we're covering all these bases, but they're doing a terrible job with all of them, right? Whereas they would be better off not having anyone responding to Twitter than they would be to responding to Twitter in a haphazard, a half-baked way, right? So they're not doing a quality job of customer support on Twitter. They'd be better off not doing it at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my opinion anyway.
Well, okay. So I can see the wisdom of that. So let me ask you this. How long should a company take before they respond to a customer, and to what length should they go? Do you think they should go to the length to where you're 100% satisfied?
I think it depends a lot on, there's too many variables there. In general, I would say yes, especially a service company like Verizon, right? I mean, you look at the value of a customer really in long term, is a pretty high thing, and especially in social media, word of mouth travels so fast that it's very important to at least try to resolve the issue. So I think that the worst possible thing that you can do is appear to disingenuous on social media. In other words, say, say we care, and then make the customer wait 36 hours before they get a response. Right? That's the opposite of caring.
Especially when you're a multi-million-dollar company that has plenty of resources to set up processes and systems to, really to respond to customers. You know what I mean? Even if they took, right. They've got the money to do it, right, is what we're saying. They got the money, they got the resources, they just lack probably process and system to make it happen, correct?
I think in some cases, and probably in their case, it's a cultural problem, but yeah, at the end of the day, you don't want to set expectations of your customer that the worst thing is, in social media today, everybody can sniff out a fake, okay, and they are clearly faking it. All you have to do is look, and they'll respond we're in the Twitter bandwagon, we'll respond to customers who say things about us, but they're not actually responding, right? They're just putting in the least amount of effort. And that is disingenuous, and that's dishonest, and that's that's the kind of thing that literally pushes customers away. That's the worst possible kind of social engagement.
Yeah.
So if you're running a business, don't do that.
Yeah. I read a statistic that said 68% of customers leave a business because of one word, and that is indifference.
Yeah.
When they feel like you don't care about them, they're gone. Listen, human beings will leave. They leave churches if they don't feel like you care. They leave. True. Wives leave if you don't feel like this is real life. If people don't feel like you care about them, kids, it doesn't matter. It goes on down, sports, business. We've got to get back to real, genuine caring about the individual. Yeah, Mike, if you leave tomorrow, is it going to hurt Verizon? No. But that mentality alone is what's going to hurt. Because think about the Titanic, my friend. The guy that built the Titanic, what did he say? He built it in such a way that not even God could sink it. I mean, you just got, when you get so big and so powerful, you've got to be careful that you don't develop, a mentality, that it doesn't matter if we lose this customer. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Right.
It's something you need to be careful of, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. Hey, we're at 20 minutes. I can do another question, or we can wrap.
We'll wrap.
We'll wrap.
We'll wrap it up because my mouse just died on me. So,
Okay.
hey, we had a blast though. It was good hanging out, guys. Mike and I are back Tuesday for our talk show about health and weight loss. Go to fuelforsuccess.tv if you want to watch any of our previous episodes, or you can go to iTunes. You can go to YouTube. We're basically, if you want to watch Fuel for Success, you can. So check us out, my friends. Mike and I are grateful that you've taken the time to watch with us today. And we'll be seeing y'all on Tuesday. Mike, enjoy your weekend. I'll be talking to you this afternoon. And everybody else have fun and go execute. And Mike, why don't you just give us a quick recap of today's show, my friend?
Well, first of all, we're 36% of the way through 2015, so let that sink in for a second. And the other recap is, you know what? We care. We do. We care if you're here, and we care if you're here next Tuesday.
I can say this, Mike. I know this about you and I. We do make an effort. Is it scalable? No. Is it look, when you grow as a business or a brand and it goes out into thousands, when literally every one of them you care about them, you really care, A, people are going to know it. B, it's all about the effort, man. And C, obviously, there's going to be times when some people are going to have emails or posts or questions unanswered, but it's your response. It's your attitude about that. It's,
Right.
Hey, does it matter to you that somebody sent you an email and you never responded to it? It should matter, right? So anyways, yeah, you're welcome, Lance. We take care of our Canadians. Did you watch that game between the Rangers and the Capitals last night? What a game, man. Overtime goal. Craziness. I watched the last 5 minutes of it. Hey, we love you guys, and we'll be seeing you all Tuesday. Mike, did you watch the game?
No. No, but thanks for asking.
Man.
We'll see y'all next week.
I care, my friend.